Guys, I'm not overacting when I say this. I think Khaliid Rashad versus Dax could be one of the toughest fights I will ever have to predict in the sport, but I'm not going to do that because it's not my job. Instead, what I'm going to do is to explain to you why this is such a tough fight to call and why this is going to be so difficult to analyze. It's for two reasons. One, Dax is arguably one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. He can pretty much beat anyone or lose to anyone on any given night. It's a very inconsistent platform. I think he can be a world beater. He has won a heavyweight title against a guy like Gabriel Maldonado. But at the same time, he did get UD'd by Harry Payne. Now, on the Khaliid Rashad side, what do we have? A guy who hasn't won this year, who last one was in Abu Dhabi. He hasn't fought since he lost to Cruzaro. He hasn't fought in the tools yet. Pretty much every advantage could be against him in this fight, and yet he's probably still going to be the favorite. Why is that? Why are we picking a guy who hasn't won this year to win against a guy who has fought on the new tools more than most people have? And this is the only problem with the new tools. I hope these stay for a long time, so once everyone does fight on them, we can actively figure out and gauge where all the fighters are. It's difficult because it favors and disfavors people's styles so radically. I mean, we talk about how Jam Jones works on it. Fishy could be a world beater on these tools. Obviously, Divine has been dominating so far on these tools. So it's really difficult to think about who is really good so far. Cruzaro has not fought yet on these tools. I'm assuming he has trained on these tools, but it's like we all say, the fight is so much more different than spars. You cannot say that the spars are gonna reflect what you're gonna have in a fight, because a fight is very high pressure. Everything's on the line, and you train so hard for it. So that's where it is. So how do you predict this type of fight? How do you predict a guy who can go turn it on, turn it off, a middle-of-the-pack middleweight, a very good middleweight, championship caliber to be honest, but then we have a guy who was once considered the GOAT until he ran into basically what was his kryptonite, was a guy who would not let off of him. Khaliid Rashad has incredible knockout power, and he can sprint to a finish. He can end the fight in 2 rounds. He can end the fight in 3 rounds. So can Dax, absolutely. However, I don't know if this is going to be one of those fights. I think this could either be a slugfest that ends in 3 rounds, or it could be a very sloppy unanimous decision. It's really hard to figure out what's going to happen in this fight, which is why I think you shouldn't be looking at the betting odds when it comes to this fight, because I don't think we know really what we're talking about yet. I know Khaliid is trained under these tools. He's getting ready for that big fight coming up in Japan, and Dax has that experience. But very much difficult to gauge these tools. And I think what's going to be more interesting here is the motivation on both sides. Khaliid is under pressure just to make a good return, but Dax is under pressure because this feels like a fight where you have this guy returning, you want to get him back in title contention, so you put him up against a very formidable guy, but everyone's expecting the guy to return to win. Conor versus Cowboy comes to mind. I'm not comparing old Cowboy to Dax. I'm just saying Dax needs to think of it as people doubting him, as people underestimating him, and that's the big thing that comes into play. Khaliid Rashad, all his pressure is you got to win this fight. Doesn't matter how you do it, but you got to beat this dude if you want to get back in the title contention. Because at the time, you were the best welterweight in the world. You were part of the RBC's glamour division. You were the best. And now, what are you going to do at middleweight? It's a new era. It's a new era in RBC. The second year is going to be a very much new era. It's going to be an era truly dominated by the middleweights. Because this division is so crazy. I want to stop talking about it, but they keep coming out with more details. It is crazy. If you're Khaliid Rashad, what are you going to do at this position? Do these tools favor you? I don't know yet. I'm not an expert. I haven't watched them train yet. I probably should. I probably should be doing my job, shouldn't I? The point is, Khaliid Rashad is going into a very dangerous scenario where he could definitely lose this fight. But he's just got to focus on winning. He's got to focus on thinking of how Dax can fight. Remember, Dax is not coming off any momentum either. He was defeated by Harry Payne, so a lot of pressure on him as well. But I don't know if this is truly a disadvantage for him. It puts a chip on his shoulder. Not everyone's really expecting him to win. But I'll give you a crazy thought. This is a pick'em for me. I have no idea who's winning this fight. Dax could be winning this fight. On one day, I could be thinking Khaliid Rashad wins. What am I even talking about right now? This guy was a former welterweight champion. But I could be saying my rational thinking, which is he's never fought on these tools. He's never fought a true match on these tools before. And Dax is a veteran. And he's really good at scouting his opponents. Now, there are just fighters who have a style that just completely combats what he does. I don't know if that's Khaliid's yet. I don't know if his style is a kryptonite towards Dax. I'm not that smart. But what Dax brings to the table is that he knows how to gauge other fighters. He knows how to find weaknesses. And if there's a guy that he can exploit, he will do it. I think he has a very good chance of doing that. This is one of those fights where I can't make an analysis until I actually watch them get in the ring together. It's one of the toughest fights I'll ever have. It might be, guys, it might be the toughest fight I'll ever have to call. Because I'll be saying all these things when I go over the fight preview, because I think it's the co-main event. I'll be like, well, look at this, all these highlights from Khaliid Rashad when he was the best welterweight in the world, but then you'll be telling me, well, yeah, that was under the old tools. They don't mean shit anymore. However, you could also be saying that it's not that big of a difference. He's still the same Khaliid Rashad. Come on, man. Be better at your job. You don't know shit about boxing. Well, I got nothing for you here. I don't know who's winning this fight. I didn't pick anyone in the betting odds because I have no idea who's winning this fight. I want the betting odds to come out very, very soon because I want to see what the people think. I want to see how they see this fight going. For the people who have Dax winning, you're very, 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 very bold. If you have Khaliid winning, I actually think you're very bold too. I would not want to be a betting man on this fight because it'd be so difficult to call for me. Am I talking out of my ass here? And I'm basically delaying the inevitable. Is this really what Khaliid's about? Is Khaliid really actually winning this fight? Is he gonna win this fight? If so, please let me know. Please call me an idiot for saying that. But guys, I think Dax can legitimately win this fight, and I think he can get back in the title contention. He just can't run back. He can't run into Harry Payne again. I said the only thing you cannot absolutely not do. Because I think his last two losses are to said Harry Payne. So that's all you have to do, man. You got a 3-fight winning streak. If you beat Khaliid Rashad, it will be the monumental moment of your career. You just cannot go back to fighting Harry Payne. I mean, Harry Golovkin. Damn it, I've been saying Harry Payne the whole time. But that's my analysis, guys. I have no idea who's winning this fight. For Khaliid, it's going to be able to knock out power, but that doesn't really apply. He's going to have to dig deep in this one. A lot deeper than he ever has in fights that aren't against Cruzaro. And I think Dax is under more pressure here because I think he's going to have it's going to be a very confusing fight for him. And I'll see what his game plan is. Is it going to be go for a knockout or is it going to be to tire him? We know Dax can get to the decision. But I'm going to leave you guys with this question because I think it's very important. Guys, who do you have winning? I don't know. I don't know because tools change a lot. But it seems like an obvious question to you. But I have no idea who's winning this fight. So what do you guys think?